What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Thank you for joining me for another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a beginner-friendly risotto, specifically mushroom risotto today. And you might be saying, how do I know it's beginner-friendly? Well, I've never made risotto before, so if it doesn't suck, I'd say that's pretty beginner-friendly. Let's get into it. I got my sous chef with me. He's gonna be helping today. The first and arguably most important thing you need to know about making risotto is that it's going to take time. Every single video, every single person I've spoken to that makes this says you need at least 35 to 45 minutes to make it the right way. If you have that much time, we can do this. So with that being said, let's dive into how we're going to flavor this risotto today. First, I'm going to start by finely dicing half of a yellow onion. I would have preferred using 2 shallots instead, but they're kind of hard to find in the grocery stores by me, so yellow onion will do. After our onion, I'm going to slice some baby bella mushrooms because, after all, this is mushroom risotto. You can definitely use different kinds of mushrooms here, and I know a lot of mushroom risotto recipes call for shiitake mushrooms, but again, can't really find them in my stores around me, so this is what I have. These mushrooms usually come in like 16-ounce containers, and I'm only going to use about half of that for this recipe today. We can set those aside after they're diced and work on our seasonings. For this, I'm going to start by taking some fresh sage leaves, probably about 4 or 5 leaves worth, and I'm just going to very finely slice these up, and later on in the video I will also be adding about 2 or 3 sprigs worth of fresh thyme as well. Now would also be a fantastic time for you to hit that subscribe button if you're still watching. Now that our ingredients are prepared, let's get ready to start cooking. We will need 2 pots, one of which is going to keep our broth/stock warm, and one to actually cook our risotto. The reason that our cooking liquid needs to be hot is because if it's not, it will quote-unquote shock the rice. And I'm not really sure what that means, but all the videos that I've watched about making risotto say that, and I don't really want to find out what shocking your rice looks like. So we're just going to keep our broth hot and ready. So I'm going to start by heating our stock on high heat until it starts to boil, and then immediately lowering the heat to low just to keep it hot. At the same time, I'm going to put a tablespoon of butter and a tablespoon of olive oil over medium to high heat, and once it starts bubbling, I will add in my onion. I'm going to cook it until it's almost fully absorbed all of the cooking oils, and then right before things start to get sticky to the bottom of the pan, I'm going to toss in my mushrooms. Behind the mushrooms, I'm also going to put a large pinch of salt and a good few cracks of freshly cracked black pepper. Once the mushrooms have released all of their liquid, which the salt will help with, I'm going to add in 1 cup of arborio rice. There's only 2 kinds of rice that you really can use for risotto, and arborio is definitely the easiest to find. I'll leave a link for the kind that I'm using in the description below if you're interested in buying it. I'm going to stir this rice over medium heat with the onions and mushrooms until the edges of each granule of rice becomes translucent. Once the rice is toasted, I'm going to add 1 cup of dry white wine and continuously stir it until all the liquid is evaporated. If you can't or don't want to cook with alcohol, that's totally fine, you don't need to. You can just use a cup of your chicken stock instead. Once all the liquid from the first round is evaporated, promptly add another cup or so of broth into the pot and repeat the same process. These first 2 rounds of liquid are going to absorb super quickly because the rice is just dying to soak up some liquid. But every round after that is going to progressively get a little bit more slow to absorb. And that's fine. This is why it takes time. You just need to be patient and continuously stir everything around. In total, when I was done, I used about a cup of white wine and 3 cups of broth before my rice was to the perfect consistency where I think it needed to be. Yours may take more or less time. Basically, the size of your pot, the width of your pot, the type of rice you use, all these things factor into how quickly your rice is going to cook and how much broth you're going to need to add. So the best way to do this is you have to taste it. That's how you know. The inside of the rice should be firm but not hard or crunchy. It's a very fine line before it's overcooked but not undercooked. So after usually, I would say, probably that 3rd cup of broth or 4th cup of liquid in total, that would be when I would start to taste your rice. And if it is still crunchy on the inside, go with another round. But if it's starting to feel good, I would just turn the heat off and move on to the next step. Which, after the texture is perfect, I'm going to kill the heat and add in about a half a cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese and just fold it in. Parmesan cheese is going to have a ton of salt in it, so you'll notice I really haven't salted this risotto very much. And that's because I'm waiting to kind of see how it tastes after the Parmesan is added. I did end up adding a little bit of salt into it at the end after the Parmesan just because it wasn't quite where I wanted it to be, but I would highly advise against adding a ton of salt in the beginning because you're going to possibly end up making it too salty that way. So, after your cheese is added, make sure you give it a taste to assess for seasoning and then save some extra grated Parmesan cheese for garnish on top. Today, I'm serving my risotto with some homemade meatloaf, which the recipe for that will be coming out next week. But you can totally eat risotto as a main course or as a side dish to a ton of other main courses. And that's why I like the mushroom risotto, because it really goes well with chicken dishes, it goes well with beef dishes, seafood dishes, you name it. It kind of goes well with everything. So definitely give this one a shot. If you guys do try making it, please let me know how yours comes out and if you enjoyed the recipe. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and thank you again. I'll see you on the next one. Peace!
Hey, so I don't have a taste test for you today because I'm actually filming my reaction video to eating this a couple days after I've already eaten it all. But I will say, mushroom risotto came out perfectly. I did need a little bit of extra salt at the end that I did not account for in the video just to kind of bring the flavor up to where I wanted it to be, but tell you what, it came out pretty damn good. And like I said, I've never made risotto before in my life. And it's always been an intimidating dish for me. But you know what? It was super easy. As long as you've got the time and you can focus on it, it'll come out fine, I promise. So don't be afraid of it. I don't really have anything to really discuss because I already ate it all again. So that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for joining me again. Hit that subscribe button, all that good stuff, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace!